Hi, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Andre The Beast Crayton Show. Today is an exciting show because we're going to talk about branding. And today's story goes back, way back in the time where a young kid probably picked up his first boom box and was walking down the street, got the bug, and decided this is what I'm going to do for a living. To Dave, all the way from Indianapolis, Indiana, his hometown, but really he's from Mississippi. We'll get into that later. I'd like to welcome to the show Clayton Lovett, owner and founder of Whoduint Beats. Welcome to the show, big guy.
Thank you.
You know, we was talking off camera, and you've been on this journey way back in the time, right? Take the viewers down a little bit of your childhood first before we go deeper into the brand of Whoduint Beats.
Well, I was what they consider a hip hop head. Like I kind of call hip hop my big brother. Cause
Right.
I was born in '77.
Okay.
So first rap album came out. So all the transitions of hip hop I grew up with. And I remember I was one of the kids get off school, ride my bike home, run to the TV, turn on your MTV Rap City, and I remember I was watching, it was a Crisscross video.
Oh yeah, Joe.
And I said, if they can do it, I can do it. And I grabbed me a pencil and paper and I wrote my first little rap.
Really?
Yeah.
So it was genetically inside you to do that. Well, you remember what it was? What the first rap was?
I do.
Get out of here. What was it?
I'm the C to the N in the middle, LAYTO. Give me the microphone so I could go ahead and flow. And when I rip the rap, I'm rarely ever standing still. I have a license that states that I can kill the will MCs that think they bad. They go and try to battle me. I'll make it short. I hit them with a clavity. I drop the bass with an extra force of gravity. You think you can beat me? Boy, let's face reality. That's all.
Oh.
At 14, I wrote that. That was my first rhyme.
How do you that is crazy. Like how do you do that? Like,
maybe the only thing I can think is maybe subconsciously you learn it because you're so obsessed with it. And I have no idea. I just know I grabbed that piece of paper, no beat. I just sat down and wrote that. That's what came to my mind. And
so how old were you when this happened?
14.
14. So 14 was your first one. Did it evolve into anything? Because this was your first. I mean, but you probably didn't have the mindset to see how far you can take it. So what do you do, like street battles or something like that?
Freestyles, got with my friends. I used to take the double cassette players and I would loop little 4 bars and make beats with it. And I had my turntables. We just hook up the mic and we freestyle. And sometimes we battle and we just had fun with it. We just I was at a crew, just a couple guys, when we just loved rap. Just loved it.
What side of town did you grow up on?
I grew up in Fort Wayne.
Fort Wayne, Indiana?
Fort Wayne. And I moved here in 99.
And then what side of town did you live on in 99?
In 99, I've stayed on the west side. I stayed over by the fairgrounds. I've been around, stayed on the east side before. So.
Was it a different environment from with the music industry when you came from Fort Wayne to Indianapolis and dealing with the north side, east side?
I never had like issues with any like side here. Like Indianapolis was just different. It was a bigger environment. You know, I've gotten embraced. You know, like but it was. I remember like in '99 in the early 2000s, Indianapolis was more lively.
Right.
It was going places.
You talking about like Piccadilly's?
What's Piccadilly?
The little nightclub that they had here on the west side.
Okay, I'm not familiar with Piccadilly. You know, I just moved. You know, so I just remember when I moved here, there was a lot happening music wise.
Yeah.
It was so when you move, it was like more potential here when I
Okay.
got here. Like, you know, everything happened around 2000s where everything started going down.
When you talk about potential in music, what exactly does that indicate?
Just it seemed like you could really get a record deal and be one of these large stars on
Really?
TV. When I moved here, coming from Fort Wayne, moving to Indy, a lot of times people forget Indianapolis had the Circle City Classic,
Yeah,
they had
yeah.
the Expo.
Yeah.
And these events was large. It was like people forget. So coming from a small town like Fort Wayne to here, that was grand. That was grand. You know,
Opportunity City now.
Yeah, you know. So
How did you manage to push your music forward, your rap?
Well, I only got so far with it. You know, at certain points, you know, life get real and kind of fall off. But I was always kind of moved away from the rap and started trying to get into music production and audio recording. So that's kind of where I've been at for a few years till about 2018, and that's when I got into film.
What were some of the issues that made you shift?
Just I don't want to discourage anybody. If you're an artist, but I will tell you this: you got to go and you got to make that your main focus, because life.
You have to be obsessed.
Life will distract you, and those distractions will throw you off track.
So you got distracted.
Yeah, just life, family, and just having to work and maintain. So
how old were you when you got distracted, when life started to change?
You start getting about 25, 28. You start kind of.
You're still young. You're wilding out about that age.
Yeah,
we're wilding out at that age.
You start looking, you get more understanding of what it takes to actually be an artist. And sometimes you have to ask yourself, is that who you want to be for real? Cause
what did you have to do that you look back now at 25? What do you go back and tell yourself?
I would just say, like I say, everything would have to. I would have moved to a larger city, possibly. I would have slept in cars. I wouldn't have, things that people normally kind of scared to do.
Right.
I would have did it. I would have did it to make because you still had that energy. You understand. You like hindsight's 2020.
Right.
Just understanding what it really takes, and I know sometimes we see these artists on TV and we think but it's a lot into it. It's really a lot into it. Just to even maintain the charisma and fan base. And
did you have support at that age? You have mom and dad, brothers and sisters, a support cast?
Not as far as like trying to achieve that. Like that was just kind of something I wanted to do. Like I'm sure a lot of artists go through it. Your average people around you,
right,
see it as a far-fetched idea. So they don't necessarily.
So with them feeling like that and people feeling like it was a far-fetched idea, at 16 to 20-some years old, you still was trying to make it happen, but then you got the setback. What was the second phase of your journey? You decided that, okay, I got distracted, maybe writing rap music is not going to be the ticket. When did it switch over to production?
About 25, 26.
Why production?
I was already doing, like, it was just, like, as I started making tracks and getting into it, it became my new obsession. Because I don't play the piano, like, so I started trying to just understand music, how music works. Like, for a long time, I was just hitting keys and making beats, and people would be like, I don't like that, I don't like that. I get, it's good. It's what I like. I can do something to it. And eventually, you have to understand if you want to make money, you're gonna have to make something other people like.
How did you manage to? Did you go to college for musical engineering?
Yeah, musical engineering. No, it's all home study.
And how did you know you had to amplify your craft, and how did you do it? Because excuse me, you said you didn't know how to play the piano, you didn't know how to play all these instruments, but yet still you're trying to make a career switch, but still keep your brand into a different arena of music now. You're not writing, you're actually taking instruments and making, what is it, a score, a beat?
Making a track, making.
That has to be difficult.
I mean, you bumped it. I bumped my head a long way, and I got a lot of rejections. I still get rejections. I got a lot of rejections.
Like, why do you get rejections? I'm curious. Why do you get rejections?
Sometimes my sound isn't like the average sound.
Right.
You know, like, just for whatever reason, it's a little different. And sometimes the average ear wants to do what it recognizes, you know.
How do you get people to understand your beat? Because we talked about a guy that I was listening to, Beats by Black. I guess he has his own little hook, that hook I was talking about. So does every engineer, because that's what you are, a beat engineer, do you have your own signature song or signature beat that you have to get people to buy into? Or when you're creating a beat, how do you do that for somebody that just comes off the street but that may not like what you got? Like, how do you switch the gears?
One thing, as I got older, you just understand that everybody's gonna like what you have. Like, some people gonna hate Dr. Pepper, some people gonna love Dr. Pepper, some people gonna hate Coke, some people gonna love Coke, and it's the same thing with the music. So, you know, we either vibe or we don't. You can let me hear your hook, let me hear what you got. If I'm making it on the spot, if you say send me some beats, I'll send you some beats. If you, I don't stress out as much about that as I used to. I just.
How difficult is it to actually? What's without giving out too much detail? What is the formula for a successful beat for an individual that comes to you? Like, how do you assess what you're going to do with that individual? Because it's money and they want results from their investment.
Right. Like I'm always honest. Like, I'll tell you, it's a hard game. In music right now versus how it was, and necessarily making money off the music per se.
Right.
Isn't what it was, but it's still good for marketing. It's still good for building your brand. You know, even if you are a music artist, you're trying to get that Pepsi endorsement or sponsor something. That's the goal for your brand, because you only got so much time. But if an artist gets with me and they sitting down, I just take my knowledge from what I understand, from everything that I've tried to pick apart, and give them the best product that I think will appeal to them and their target market. That's kind of my approach.
Is it difficult to make a beat?
Not now. Not for me now. Back when I say 25, 26, when I was starting off, yeah, it was times where I would maybe pull up on a client, and a potential client, and I'd worry, like, I don't know if I'm gonna make something they're gonna like. I just don't know. Now I'm confident. Like, I know they're gonna walk out with something happy.
What do you like better now that you're older? You started this journey in your later teens, around 15, 14 years old. You're 45 now, 46 now. What do you like? Looking back and talking to yourself, what do you like better and why?
As far as
your music career, did you like writing, being the rapper, or do you like where you are now as the audio engineer?
I still enjoy making songs. From time to time, I will make a song. Like, every once or twice a year, I'll record some, because I just have they just come. You know, like, I'll just be sitting there and something will come in my head, and it's like, I don't rush to record it. It might sit in my head for 4 or 5 months, and one day I'm like, let me go record. I have a couple songs out now.
Really?
Yeah. So it's just every once in a while I get. So I still enjoy the whole process of, hey, I got to rap. Let me make a beat and record it. Still my number one love. You know.
Really?
Yeah. So.
But you now are doing video production. We talked about that a little bit. Why get into the video industry?
Well, I was a movie buff growing up too. So.
What's your favorite movie? You get 3. You get 3.
Ooh, that's a 3.
I give you 5.
Okay. You gotta say Pulp Fiction. I put Pulp Fiction.
Okay. I did see Pulp Fiction. It took a while for me to understand the plot. But yeah, okay. The next one.
Blowout. There's a movie with John Travolta called Blowout.
I haven't seen that.
It came out like 81. It's a great movie. I tell everybody if you get a chance to watch Blowout.
Okay. I gotta put that on my list. Number 3.
Gotta put Friday on the list. Friday has to be on the list.
Friday? Which one?
The first one.
Okay.
It was such a brilliant movie. 5 is hard, but Friday was such a brilliant movie.
Okay.
Pretty much one location, didn't need a big budget, but it was just a movie with cliches all through it. Like it's a classic. It's hard. 5.
Now you're number 4.
On 4 now.
Yeah.
Can we leave? You can't leave Menace to Society off the list.
Okay.
You can't leave that off the list. They don't mention it enough, in my opinion. With Martin Scorsese's, and that was a well-filmed, well-written movie.
Okay. Now number 5.
Ooh, 5. That's a tough one. Let's see if I could just throw something miscellaneous in there. What's something I like to watch? 5. It's like leaving something out. Like so many just great movies. Like 5. I don't know if I could put a 5 out there just off the top of my head. Let me throw a horror film in there. Evil Dead 2.
Never seen it.
Evil Dead 2.
Is that a must?
If you like horror.
Okay.
If you like horror films.
What do you take from those movies into what you're doing now? You mentioned a lot of different genres in the movie industry. I'm surprised that there's not a Western or a like a family type like the Godfather, something like that. But you did pick the fact that there was a lot of short films, one that was shot on one location, low budget. What do you bring in? What did you get from all those movies that you just mentioned and bring it into your career, and why?
Well, if you take Pulp Fiction, for example, it's a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Right.
And to me, as far as the art of storytelling, I think he's the best at it. Like, you can watch a Quentin Tarantino movie and his characters will be talking about something that could be another movie itself. So
right.
That's kind of what I take from Quentin, that I like what he does. He'll have just the average conversation that might seem random but still applies to the movie, and it'll just be interesting enough to be a whole nother movie itself.
Right.
Blowout, when I first watched Blowout, it opened my mind to storytelling. Like
really?
taking a small idea and making the story about everything that happened in between that small idea. Like, for instance, like you could just walk over to, okay, about to hit the stop button, but on your way, you could trip, and when you trip, you knock over a glass of water.
I hope not.
And then when that happens, you get a phone call from the fam that had to run out, but you left the whole button still record, and somebody by the end of the movie, you finally make it back to hit the stop button. So that it just kind of opened my mind to all the stuff that could go on in between something simple to give you a story idea. Friday, like I was saying, it has all the cliches in it. It's back to back.
Funny.
Everything, every character in this movie said, you would hear people walking around quoting my neck and my back. Just everything in it just quotes back to back. So, so that energy that they had. What was the other one I said?
You said Menace to Society. That was clearly underrated.
The reason I bring up Menace to Society is because they don't bring it up with the Godfathers and the friend. Like I said, the friend.
Francis Coppola?
Yeah, Coppola. Like, they don't bring this movie up, but when you look at the cinematography, like they had the scene when Kane had beat the guy up in the house.
Yeah.
And they're dragging him out the house, and it's the slow motion scene panning through the house from the outside. You see him taking, like, I was like, that's cinematography gold right there. But we don't bring this up with Scarface and all that, but it's a movie that's just as good as any of those movies.
So when you start seeing this decided this was your ticket to say, I need to basically start creating films because I see
it was just
the different aspects of movie.
I think it was just probably just something in me to do, and I went back to school in 2018. I was really going to go to get my music production degree just so I could add that under my belt, but then I found out that they send you the equipment to do movies. And like I messed around with it when I was young. Like even when I first went to school, it was for broadcasting.
Right.
It's kind of shifted, but they said they send you the camera and everything. And
when you got the camera, what happened?
I just started learning it. I spent. Now I'm comfortable with it, but it was an adjustment because I was coming from sound to visual art.
Right.
I've never really been a visual artist. Like my son, he's a natural visual artist. Like I remember he did a commercial in high school and it looked like anything on TV.
Really?
I struggle with it, like to get a good look and visual. So
how long did it take you to really start to master the craft? My hats off to you, the fact that you didn't give up. You kept the focus. The pivot that you're doing is almost like the triangle offense with the Chicago Bulls. You're moving from here to here to here to here, and still staying pretty much in your lane. You haven't left. You're still under the entertainment field to some degree.
This is because it's just what I know.
Did you ever want to quit?
Every other week. Every other week.
Believe me, I know. What was the hardest part of all of the eras that you was in entertainment? What was the hardest part about the rap as a young kid? What was the hardest part about music production and doing the beats? And what's the hardest part about the cinematography that you're getting into? Those are three major areas of entertainment. But what's the hardest part of those three, and then what's the most enjoyable part of all those for you?
Well, I'll say the most enjoyable part is just the being in the create, the art, the motion of creating. Like I love to create. Okay. Like that's why it works for me. You know what I'm saying? If I'm writing a script, I'm still writing. I'm creating something. If I'm writing a song, I'm still. And I enjoy to create. I like to see the finished product. Like, oh, okay, that was nice. Let's go on to the next thing. You know. So,
right.
But as far as like writing, you know, just understanding. Just sometimes you gotta take yourself out of yourself. You gotta put yourself in the person listening. You know, just fully understanding how to communicate. There was a time where I would struggle to write a rhyme. Mm-hmm. Now, if it's the message I want to convey, no problems. It's like anything. If you keep doing it, you get better at it. You just got to keep doing it. But that was probably maybe, I don't even know if I would say I had problems with the writing because I was just living it. So I didn't know until I knew I didn't know. You know?
So a lot of your writing skills came from personal experience.
Yeah, just from, I got what I love about hip hop, and that was kind of. I do kind of appreciate that when I moved here, it kind of took me out of my element. Some stuff that I normally wouldn't recognize or give credit to, or respect or listen to. I was in environments where I met people that would look at the stuff that I like that's stupid. And I understood why, you know.
Right.
So it kind of broadened my horizons in music and
so you was able to, were you able to accept criticism from people?
Yeah. That not, you know, when you're young, not at first, but I remember one day sending a track to somebody and they sent me a message back saying this was before Fruity Loops was a big program. So
right.
They sound like a Fruity Loop beat. And my initial thought was to give, it's just, you know, you get older and then I had just a little thought like, all right, I could get mad about this, but if you want to make some money, you're gonna have to figure this out. So I did have to sit down and start studying music theory and how pianos work and what these keys do and how they influence your mood and what frequency. You know, so I got all into that, and now I can make a track and somebody will, hey man, I like that.
Looking back on your life as a young man to now, what are 3 important factors that you take with you today to give to your son? Because you say your son does this and he's just like this. What are 3 important things that you take from your life back then to now that you give to him?
I gotta acknowledge my other 2 babies too. I got a son and 2 daughters.
Okay.
Yeah. But one thing I always would tell them: keep your credit straight. Keep your credit good. As long as you got good credit, you can make all the mistakes you need to.
Okay.
You can bounce back.
Okay.
You know, keep your credit. Do what you love to do, and just keep trying that. Because if you do anything else, you'll be miserable.
Okay.
That's what I let them know. Like, it's not always easy to do what you want to in life, but just strive for it if you can. You know, there's nothing else to do. You know, even if you got a job, when you get off, put a little time into what you love to do. And the third thing, just try to just enjoy life the best you can.
Yeah.
Try to enjoy it. You know, take the moments, and you know, you look up one minute and you're not 14, you're 46. You're looking back like, man,
if I could have done it,
yeah,
I could turn back the hands of time.
Yeah.
What, you've been in the entertainment industry several years, and that means you bring experience. You definitely kept the brand, and you pivoted, and you never lost the brand. Whoduint Beats. What have you seen different in the industry?
I got to witness it go from vinyl to just streaming, and it kind of seems like the amount of money or the money potential that was there when I started, the dream that was there when I started doesn't exist anymore. Like,
What do you mean by that?
You know, there was a day where you could go out and sell a physical. You know, there was an era where people could go out and sell 100,000 CDs out their trunk.
Yeah, right.
You can't do that right now. Like, even if you're the best artist, you know, you got this. You can maybe come up with your own way to maybe sell your MP3s, but you got this distribution thing where you kind of need it, but they're not paying out. So you know that was the biggest change, that dream that we had to.
What do you tell an aspiring artist right now, based on your experience, the way things have changed? It seems like there will be a discouragement, because the end game is you want to be able to make a living, you want to have fun at what you do, you don't want to be discouraged, but there are gatekeepers, and there's rules and regulations that unfortunately you have to deal with in the entertainment field. What do you tell a young artist?
This is just looking back. Like I said, there's a lot of success I still haven't reached, but just looking back, some things I would have done different. I would focus on the fan base, because it doesn't matter who's gatekeeping. If you have a fan that likes to listen to your music, they can't stop that. You know, so
Right.
if you focus on, and don't focus on what another artist is doing, focus on how many people you can get to show up at your show, so you can sell tickets. Like this with my guy Ramasai, we always having these discussions. Show up at your show and sell tickets and get you some merchandise. Other than that, you might be stepping on your foot, But if you got some merchandise, and you got some way to generate money, which is, it comes down to building your brands.
Right.
You got a brand that people love, and you get your numbers up, and you can sell merchandise. Then hopefully, you do get the streaming money. But like you were saying, how YouTube is doing people, and
Yeah.
Spotify, they new rules was like, just don't. You got it, but you don't want us to have it. And this is like even new for everybody. Like trying to figure out how to
pivot,
turn this money, how to turn our art into money now, since we don't have the physical copies. We don't.
You are working with a young man who is definitely doing some pivots.
Reckless Rhymicide. We came to the party.
Yeah.
We have a EP that was produced by me called As Is. And
what's it like working with him?
Oh man, he's great, man. He's a friend to the end. You know, if you having a bad day, you just know how to. Hey man, look, hey, it's life. Keep going, man. You just gotta keep going, man.
What makes him different, and then what do you two have together? Because in order to work with somebody, a lot of times the best relationships usually happens when the best interests are aligned together. Like, what makes you guys so good together? Why did he come to you out of all the other beats masters and engineers?
Well, one thing is we both got a love for rap. We both love his name was Reckless Rhymicide. That's hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And so we got that, and we both also have a goal of success and trying to beat the odds, because you know, dealing with the, you know, where we at, but it's still possible. It's still a day in an era where you can make something happen. And so, like I was saying earlier, now when he does songs, it's with a purpose, with a whole, there's a plan behind it. Like he has the It's Your Birthday song, you know. He's trying to sell the service of hiring them to come perform at your birthday. I come DJ, and you know, you have a party and celebrate your birthday, and you know, same way you would hire another performer to come to your birthday party. So this is but that was the whole plan of the song. It wasn't like I'm just gonna make this song. It's something. Every time he does something now, it's with a purpose and how.
When he came to you, how did that make? Did you know of him prior to him coming to you?
No, yeah, I had a buddy, my buddy, Mr. Pyrex.
Mr. Who? Mr.
Pyrex. You know, now they had Zaytoven and Gucci back in the day. This was me, and he kept telling them, you know, I guess Rhymicide would go to a couple different places and, you know, had whatever experience. And guys kept telling them, hey man, call Whoduint. And one day he called me, and he's been working with me ever since. And became friends, and he's just been working ever since. Yeah.
I appreciate you taking the time to come on the show, and definitely you got that beast mindset. You've been doing it for over 40 some odd years. You pivot left, you pivot right, you ran the triangle offense like the Chicago Bulls, and you're still doing your thing. How can the viewers reach out to you if they need your services or beats or parties or just inspiration? Because you can guide somebody with your knowledge on how to really pivot in this industry.
I could be reached at Instagram is a good way. A lot of people got Instagram. It's Whoduint Beats. Is WHODUNITBEATS on Instagram, and my link to everything else is on there. So if you go there, also if you got TikTok, it's Whoduint Beats in Films. The letter N Films. I'm really trying to get my numbers up on there. So please follow me. I follow back. So if you got a TikTok, so
make sure you support, because that's what this show is about. It's about understanding everybody has a journey, and we can help each other get to that journey by simply clicking the like, subscribe, the follow, listen to the story. If you got any questions, you want to learn about beats or improving your film production or even getting the film done.
If you got, just contact me. We'll get it done.
Short film scores. What's a score?
That's when the music, all the music, the theme song, you know, dun 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 dun. That's the score. That's somebody said, some brilliant mind sat there and came up with a song that's gonna resonate with you every time you hear it.
Okay, that's really a way to get your brand out too, is to have a song that people go, oh wow. Okay, I'm gonna put you on the spot before we get off.
All right.
You said you wrote raps and you just come up with them. Come up with something to leave the audience with right now.
A freestyle?
Freestyle, yeah. Talent is talent.
Check it out. This is what I'm about to tell y'all. I don't want to let y'all down, but if you need some movies or something, call up Whoduint. I'll pull up and jump in the mind frame. My mind came up with rhymes off the top. I drop a lot. I'm not gonna stop. I don't care if I'm 80. You will still see me talking about, hey, I got these beats. Come pay me. My style's crazy. Never lazy. Always working. Mind for certain. Leave your feelings hurting. If you think you step into me on the mic, I'm Whoduint. I got the style that you like. You know what I'm saying? You know, just on the spot.
I appreciate that, ladies and gentlemen. Whoduint Beats on the Andre the Beast
Appreciate you too.
Crayton show.